Welcome to the Road to a Millie. And we got a fun one today. Got some new graphics trying to keep you guys entertained, keep you paying attention here on this snowy day in 40 states in the United States. But I'm not in one of those states, neither is Kellen. And that's exciting. Obviously, a huge storm has been wreaking havoc today and yesterday throughout the country. A lot of cleans were canceled today. Some of you guys might be on snow day. Some people were like, I'm not sure if I'm even going to have internet today. We have internet here, and most exciting, more exciting than that today, we're going to be talking about 5 people. There's going to be 5 people, guys, who are standing between you and $1 million cleaning business. Okay. And the goal for you today is to understand who those 5 people are, understand how you need to sell them, and then leave here with clarity on knowing which one of those 5 people you need to start with. Right. So that is the goal for today. But before we get into the 5 people, the last couple weeks, actually the first week of January, we talked about unreasonable goals. Some of you guys were on that call, and we talked about what it takes to hit unreasonable goals. Kitty, what were the 4 unreasonable skill sets we had to have in order for us to hit those unreasonable goals? Or what's the first two? The first 2 that we talked about over the last 2 weeks, I should say.
The first one is unreasonable commitment.
Yeah. And really it goes in line with the unreasonable courage to commit, right? You gotta be able to, like, you're not gonna grow a $1 million business on accident, guys. You don't just wake up and say, okay, I did it. You will know, because you will have gone through all the growth and the pain and the problems that are associated with you being able to grow a $1 million business. It will not happen on accident, I assure you. Okay, so if you're like, I think I'm on track. No. You will know. You will know. Okay. So that was what we talked about 2 weeks ago. And then last week, Katie, what did we talk about?
The humility to learn.
Yeah. So you got to have an unreasonable humility, which means that when things are not going good, you have to realize that whose responsibility is it to fix it? And when things are going good, whose responsibility is it to make sure that you keep success happening, you keep momentum?
Definitely mine as well.
Yeah. And so last week, really, we talked about humility being in the middle between certainty and helplessness. And so that's where, like, if you are feeling helpless, like, I can't do this, it's impossible. My market, my people, my family situation, never went to college, didn't grow up around anybody successful, like, that's helpless. Like, move as far away from that as you can. Move as far away from that as you can. But if you go too far, you get certainty. And certainty is, I know. Logan, you don't want to be there either. You want to be right in the middle, which is humble, right? Which is having humility. Okay. And today we're going to be talking about the third unreasonable skill that is required to build a $1 million business. And what is that skill set, Katie?
The conviction to sell.
The conviction to sell. Yeah. So a lot of the people who I get to interact with, people who I get to coach, who I get to see from inside our mentorship, this is probably the most tactical one that people struggle with, is the conviction to sell. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna break this down so you guys have clarity on what is conviction, what is selling, and who are these 5 people that I need to sell. Okay. And that way you can leave the call knowing, like, what you need to do to be able to increase your skill set with this, the conviction to sell. Okay. But like we did last week, let's start by defining terms. So I think it's important for us to all speak the same language. So let's talk about the word conviction. How many of you guys have heard this term? How many of you guys feel like you know it? Awesome. Katie, what is the definition of conviction?
Conviction is a belief that strengthens with resistance.
Has anyone ever felt resistance before? Have any of you guys ever backed off when you felt resistance? You guys, like, listen to the resistance. Yeah. That would be a good example of the opposite of conviction. Okay. And so an example of conviction would mean that somebody says, oh, you're a scam. And you move forward anyway, despite the resistance. You turn up the marketing. You make more phone calls because you're convicted. That's what resistance shows you. Here's a good example this morning. We got a 1-star review in Mesa. And the review was inquired about the service, had one phone call, didn't go through, and then I got so many messages, left a 1-star review, right? Oh, no, she said, I said stop. But they kept messaging me. This is a very common situation that I see actually people post in the mentorship. They're like, what do I do? You keep doing what you're doing. You keep moving forward, despite somebody saying, you text me too much. I said stop. And the reality is, I went back and looked at our conversation because we use Go High Level, which many of you guys use Go High Level. It's a nice CRM that shows you all activity that happens. And she was right. We did message her a lot, but she never, ever once said stop until she did. And then you can see the timestamp right after that, like she got put into do not contact right away. And so, like, are you going to let that person stop you from continuing to text the other people who were like, thank you so much? Because you know what a message I got on Friday, it was on Thursday, was in our Bozeman office. Somebody's like, you guys are so persistent. Thank you. Like, how am I going to say no to this? And so if you guys want to have those messages, you have to be willing, you have to be willing to get the 1-star reviews, get the people who call you a scam, tell you to stop, say, lose my number. And that's what conviction is. Your belief strengthens with the no's, with the resistance, with the rejection. Okay. So, Kitty, put that in the chat already. So if you guys are here live, you guys can go to the chat and Kitty put the definition in the chat. But now let's talk about what does it mean to sell in context. So we have the conviction to sell. What does to sell mean in context?
It means to make yes feel more valuable than no.
That's what selling is, guys. It's just like, is the yes more valuable than a no? How you're able to articulate whatever you're trying to sell. And so if you understand, if you believe that if you get a lot of no's, it's because you don't know how to articulate what you're trying to get a yes for. And so it's not a them thing, it's a you thing, which goes hand in hand with our conversation last week about humility. Or you can just get better at talking to people and not labeling them as broke, poor, whatever. Just like they're just people. There was this saying I heard one time, and it helped me so much understand humans that I want to share this with you guys. There's this guy named John Gordon, and for lack of a better word, he's a coach, right? He coaches NFL coaches, and he coaches like these really college coaches. And specifically, his niche is in football. So he coaches these NCAA college coaches and NFL coaches, just a coach's coach, right? And he said this saying one time that really just stuck with me. And he said, any sort of ism, things like racism, sexism, anything you add the ism on the back of it. He's like, all it is you looking outwards and seeing differences rather than sameness. And it was like really impactful. Just like made it really simple. It's like I look out and racism is I see some of the different color and I see different rather than the sameness would be I see a human. Like we can connect on that. And you can go through any sort of ism you can think of. And all it is like you choosing to see the difference rather than the sameness. And so a lot of times people, they look at prospects or clients and they see differences. They see, oh, this person's broke. This person doesn't have the same values as me. This person doesn't talk like me. And that is businessism.
Judgmentism.
Yeah. It's not going to help you. No sort of ism has ever helped anybody. All it does is create separation, creates a disconnect. So if you want to connect with people, then you need to start to see the sameness in them. Okay. So now let's put the definition together. So we have the definition of conviction. We have the definition of to sell. And then what is the conviction to sell?
The conviction to sell is when no's increase your belief that yes is in their best interest.
Yeah, cool. And so it's important for us to understand that as we move through this entire thing, because that's the basis of this call, is you guys have to believe that when you get a no, it's got to increase your belief. Yeah, like this person needs to say yes. Just because they don't say yes now doesn't mean they won't say yes in the future. Or just because this person doesn't say yes doesn't mean the next person won't say yes. You have to like, you got to keep going, right? Got to keep going. How many of you guys are in the mentorship? You guys know the stage? This is my favorite stage, and this was intentional. No for now, right? How many of you guys have actually made sales from the no for now stage? You guys are like, yeah, almost all of us. Like, this is it. Exactly. This is where this belief comes from. Like, this is called conviction, guys. It's somebody tells you no and you keep asking. Also, how many of you guys have kids? Yeah, very convicted. How many times have you guys told them no and they just keep asking? Does that make them bad people because they keep asking? Or does it make them convicted? And are you just attracted to their conviction? You're like, dang, I guess, kid, right? Be like your kids. I've said this a couple times. I've never made it really direct, but like my biggest role model is my 6-year-old Lainey. Like I really want to be like her. I really do. And because I want to be like her, like she recognizes that. And like, because like everything I talk about is just like it's based around like she's my role model. Do you think that there's a high probability that she might want to be like some sort of version of me as she continues to grow up? Lucas is on this call. So last week, Lucas got on my Tuesday softwares and systems call. It's a brand new call we put into the mentorship. And he just got on there, like didn't ask him to, just got on there, just showed up basically, right? And then on Wednesday, I had a little bit of time and I was like, I think it was subconscious at the time. Now I'm starting to understand it, but I was like, I guess I'll get on Lucas's call because he showed up to my call. I'll give him support by showing up to his call. And it's just like one of those laws of reciprocation of like when people do nice things for you, you just feel obligated to do nice things for them as well. Right? Give first, but don't give it with an expectation. Just give without expectation. All right, so we're gonna get to these 5 people here. How many of you guys want to grow $1 million businesses? That's the goal of today. The goal is to build $1 million businesses because $1 million businesses create freedom. The freedom for you to actually be who you were designed to be in this world. It basically eliminates money. When you don't need money, then you actually can do things because you want to do them because they fulfill you. But there's a game of sequence. You can't do that without actually taking care of money first. Like money is a very important game in every single person's life. So like solve that game first. And that's what we're doing today. Okay. And so in order to grow $1 million business, we got to learn the skill sets on how to grow $1 million business. And so every growth ceiling in your business is just a selling ceiling. Believe that. Okay. But it's not selling a service or selling something for money. It's selling beliefs. Okay. Katie, I want you to screenshot this, copy this, put this in the chat. But like, this is another like take home message for today, guys. Resistance doesn't mean stop. It just shows you, gives you clarity on the next person who you need to learn how to sell. It's a you deficit. So let's get into these 5 people. You guys ready to learn the 5 people that you have to sell in order to build $1 million business?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Person number one. Person number one, guys, yourself. Right? Numero uno. You guys want to know what you need to sell yourself on.
Yeah, the courage to commit.
Dang it. See how this is all starting to circle back around? You got to sell yourself on committing. That is the first step. You got to go. You got to commit to $1 million. Nothing less. All in. Eliminate all other options. All resources towards one goal. Okay. Here's the truth, guys. You will never have all the answers. You will never know if it's going to work. You cannot wait for fear to leave. It's always going to be here. You just must decide. $1 million business. That's the only goal. If you guys are willing to dedicate the next 10 years, every single person here, I don't care what your skill level is, if you're willing to dedicate 10 years, you can build $1 million business. Some of you guys are like, that's a long time. It's an unreasonable time. Katie, how long did it take us to build our first $1 million business?
Well, in that business, 5 years, but in totality, over a decade.
It took us 10 years to build our first $1 million business. So our oldest daughter is 16 years old, and she just went online because she wants to grow up faster. No idea why she wants to grow faster, right? But she wants to grow up faster. And so she's a competitive swimmer. So she swims in the morning, then she swims at nighttime, and then she does online school, which she can do anytime she wants, which has been on weekends and nights because during the day now she works. And so about 3 weeks ago, she started actually applying for jobs. And she applied for like 1 or 2 jobs and she was like, oh, I didn't get a call back, yada, yada, yada. And then Katie and I told her the same thing we tell you guys about, oh, I called a couple clients, they didn't get a call back. It was like, volume is the answer, right? Like you need to go do more. And not just doing things online or on Indeed, like go into places, go show your face, like go drop applications off, like do both, like volume, 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 volume. And she did those things. What do you guys think happened? She got a job. She's got new problems. She has multiple jobs. And now she has multiple job offers that keep coming in. And she's quite literally now scared of having too many jobs. She went from scared of not having any jobs to now I have too many jobs. What do I do? Mom, what do I do now? Too many problems. Volume creates problems, guys. Right? And so let me tell you guys a story because some of you guys have heard me tell the story, but maybe you guys haven't ever heard me tell this part of the story. When I started my first business, that was 2013, so 12, 13 years ago, it was a personal training gym, and I knew nothing about business. And I can tell you I knew nothing about business because I made no more than $5,000 a month in revenue for 3 years. That's 156 weeks. I could not break $5,000 a month in revenue. And I would say probably the last like 6 to 8 months is when I started to actually be humble enough to realize that like what I was currently doing was not going to work. I needed to do something different. So I started looking for outside help. I started looking for guidance and coaching. And I started with like courses, and then I had some clients who gave me some free advice, and they had some friends who gave me some free advice. And then eventually I ran into Alex Hormozy. That was in 2017. Some of you guys, if you don't know who Alex is, someone can drop the link for him. In 2017, no one knew who he was. So if you don't know who he is today, cool. Neither did I back in 2017. And I ended up investing $10,000 in his coaching program. And but here's the part of the story that I don't tell very much. So it was a Saturday morning that I signed up, gave him money. He gave me access to the system that very same day. And I went straight from Katie's bedroom floor, which is where I was doing that sales call, to my gym, and I started implementing the system, right? ClickFunnels and Zapier and all these automations. And like, I knew nothing, guys. I knew nothing. I just was like, sat there all day Saturday just building the system. Some of you guys have built the current system we have inside the mentorship, and this is where it came from, right? I sat there on Saturday and built it. On Sunday, I started actually trying to learn the scripts and try to learn the process of like when they say yes, what did they actually happens? And like, I don't know. I didn't, I didn't know what happened. And then Monday morning, I have a team meeting. I have 4 part-time trainers. One of these people is my roommate. The other 3 are clients who I trained that just got good at whatever I was teaching them. And I said, you become a trainer. They said, cool. Okay, so there's 4 part-time people. We're sitting in my little dinky office in my gym, and I just had told them what I did over the weekend. And I remember looking at them all in the eye. And by the way, $10,000 at that point in my life was everything I had. Like it was literally every dollar that I had. And so it meant a lot to me. And I remember looking at every single one of them. I just was like, guys, this is going to work. If I have to knock on every single door in Bozeman, Montana, this is going to work. and just like gave them the serious face. I was like, you guys ready? I'm like, all I need you guys to do is just to like just believe in me. Mind you, at this point, guys, in the 3 years up to this point, I had brought on 36 clients. That's what we were currently at when we started in April of 2017. I had accumulated 36 clients over the course of 3 years. On Tuesday, I turned the ads on. Okay. Ads went on. Never had run paid marketing my entire life. I had no idea what to expect. Wednesday, my schedule was full of sales calls, in-person sales calls, and not just in person, but they were group sessions because I like there was so many freaking leads that like I couldn't do one-on-ones. I was doing groups of 2, 3, 4, 5 people at a time. No idea what I'm doing. No idea what I'm selling. No idea if it's going to work. Do you think I was scared? It was the freaking most scariest time of my life at the time. I made my first sale on Wednesday. These were $500 sales, which at the time to me was also was outrageous. I was like, this is insane. Made my first sale on Wednesday. By that Sunday, because by the way, I sold Saturday and Sunday as well. I sold 36 people in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in 5 days. 36 people in 5 days at $500 a pop. It's about 15 grand. I was like, whew, made that 10 grand back. Yes. Like that was how big my think was, guys. I was like, I just made the 10 grand back. Thank God. Right. And then the next week happened and the leads kept on coming in. The sales appointments kept coming in. I also had a dinky gym. It was less than 1,000 square feet. Like this gym could not hold very many people. And then all of a sudden, my fear shifted from not enough clients investing this money to got the money back. Now I'm like, where do I put these people? And I remember having nightmares that I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put these people at. I remember telling Katie, I was like, Katie, what do I do? She's like, ask Alex. And I kind of took her advice. I just told Alex, I was like, hey, I got to turn this thing off, dude. Like, there's way too many people. And Alex said, no. He's like, that's stupid. He's like, if you don't sell 100 people, you can't do the next thing. He's like, trust me, Logan, you think this thing is good that you just got? The next thing is way better. I was like, this thing is really good. I do want to see what's next. So, okay. And so I just kept going. Just had to figure it out. I did not know the answers. I just had to figure it out. And after 4 weeks, I'd sold 105 people at $500 a pop. And that moment has transformed my life forever. And it wasn't the money, it was the courage to commit. That has taught me that I would have stopped and I would have not understood what was actually left behind there. Most people fail because they wait for certainty. You have to commit first and force certainty to catch up. Person number one, guys, the biggest sell of your life. Got to sell you. You guys ready for person number two? Let's see how fancy this is. Person number two. Hey, who's person number two? Who are people? People number two.
Your family.
Mi familia. Right? And so when it comes to family, guys, you got to sell your family on different. It's going to be different because it's always different before it's better. I actually got that line from Kellen. She's on here today. Like, I love that line so much. Right? That's what you have to sell your family on. And so there's certain avatars that we have in our family. So we always have our spouses, we have our kids, we have the people who are close to us. And so there's certain avatars that we have to look out for. So Katie, who are some of these avatars as these people who are close to us that can be the people that we have to sell? So what's the first avatar that we have?
The naysayer.
Yeah. The naysayer guys. So the naysayers are like, it won't work. People like us don't do that. Be realistic, Dina. You can't do this. You know where you come from. The naysayer guys, you can see them. They rarely take risks themselves. Right? Who's the next avatar, Katie?
The second is the crab.
The crab. And you guys have heard of the expression, the crab's in the bucket, right? One crab tries to climb out and the other crabs pull him back. It's a very famous expression. And really the person, what the crab really says is like, why are you trying so hard? Right? Why can't you just be content?
You work too much.
Why can't you just be grateful for what you have? Right? Who's the next avatar, Katie?
The accountant.
Yeah. This person, it keeps track, right? Remember you tried that last time. Remember it didn't work. Remember you invested in this mentorship. How many of you guys actually done that to yourselves? Sometimes you guys are your own accountants, right? Or your spouses. Like because you don't want your spouse to be the accountant, you become the accountant. It's like, okay, I'm never investing in coaching again. How many of you guys actually said that on here before you guys joined the mentorship? That's like the most common thing I get from people is like, I told myself I'm never investing in coaching again because it didn't work out the first time. What's the next one, Katie?
The safety officer.
Yeah. What if it goes wrong? I can actually be a
If you
safety
lose
officer.
everything.
Yeah. I talk about this with Katie a lot. Like in certain areas of my life, I'm actually a safety officer. I'm very cautious. I'm very cautious when it comes to death. Like I think that is the extreme that I'm trying to solve for. But what if it goes wrong? What if we lose money? What if we lose status? Uh, who's the next one, Katie?
Cynic.
Yeah. This is the one who, these are the haters. So if you guys can imagine, people like Alex Ramosi and people like Tony Robbins, people like these amazing human beings who are willing to like sacrifice their privacy. So that way people like you and I can learn from the greats. Like they get mocked. If you guys ever go through some of their comments and see some of the people who hate on them, these are the cynics. They mock optimism, call them gurus. Like, if you were so rich, why would you do this? Because they're rich. That's why they do it. Because they can. Because they don't actually have to spend all their time working for money. Next one, Katie.
The projector.
Yeah. These are the people who put their limits on you. They try to sell you on why you should quit because they quit. You guys, all these people that we just talked about, all these avatars, they're not evil by any stretch of the means. Your family members are not evil. They're just scared. That's all. It's okay. They're just insecure. It's totally fine. We just have to understand. We don't need to judge them. We just have to understand. Okay. Now, you guys will get some haters sometimes, but these people are loud. These people might be your family members too. Right? What are haters, Katie?
Yeah, haters are people who actually want you to fail.
Yeah. They don't try to hide it. They don't try to disguise it in any of these other terms. Like they will let you know. You're going to get some haters. So I want to give you guys a couple examples here. My mom, she's a crab, was a crab. And so right before I actually signed up for gym launch, or it was like right as I signed up for gym launch, maybe it was like in the first couple of days of the first week. I remember my mom at the time lived about 3 hours away from us. And so she drove into Bozeman, we had lunch. And I remember telling her that, hey, I just did this thing. I just invested all my money into this program. It's like, I'm committing. I'm going all in. My mom just was like, why? Why are you trying so hard? Like, why are you gonna like why you take such big risks, Logan? Like, you're good. Like, you've been in business for a long time. Like, you got a nice truck. She didn't know that. Like, I had a big old debt payment on it too. I didn't. She's like, you have all these nice things. And I remember, like, in that moment, I was like, I was so committed. I was like, Mom, what I need from you is I need your support. I need you not to doubt me. I need you not to try to ask for my time. I need you to just say, Logan, keep going, keep pushing. Proud of you. Just, I'm proud of you, Logan. I understand, Mom, you're proud of me, but like, I need your support. I can't have you nagging. I can't have you second guessing me. I can't have you putting these doubts in my head. Like, I already have doubts. I can't have more doubts from you. She's like, okay, Logan. I was like, Mom, I just want to be clear. Like, if you continue to put these doubts in my head or to put them in our conversations, like, I'm going to have to stop communicating with you. Okay. I apparently wasn't clear enough because she kept doing it. And I remember the moment I was like, I have to not have this attention. I have to be focused. I cannot have this crab in my life. I remember going down to AT&T and I said, what do I got to do to change my phone number? And that was the moment that I got rid of my phone number, got a new number, and I gave it to two people. I gave it to Katie and one of my mentors at the time. His name was Mike. That was it. Nobody else had my number for a very, very long time. And that was what I did to silence the crab is I just said, I'm committing to my goals. Understand this, guys, that like your family members, like they look for safety. They look for safety. But the results are the only language that your family will understand. So today, my mom's actually coming down here to Arizona. She's going to come down, stay at our house. And she's no longer a crab anymore. In fact, she's like asking me for business advice because you know what? She saw what I did and she's like, if my son can do that, then I can do it too. So she quit her job. Now she owns a couple businesses and like that's what she does. Right. And it's because I showed her first. I showed her results. I stopped explaining. I just went for it. Person number 3. How many of you guys feel comfortable talking to strangers? Julia, that's about it, probably, right? Kellen feels comfortable talking to strangers. I can tell because it shows up in the stat sheets, right? And so, what we have to sell strangers on is the opportunity to be able to serve them. Katie, what is the definition of a stranger?
Someone you have no established relationship, trust, or shared history with.
Yeah. So, these are not your family and friends, guys. It's not your current clients, not referrals. They're not mutual friends. Like, this is how most of you guys probably started your businesses. And you're like, I'm pretty good at this sales thing. If you want to grow $1 million business, you got to learn how to talk to strangers. Okay. And Katie, what are some of the things that strangers will do that
Oh
will make you
man.
think that they don't want to talk to you?
Yeah, they're going to test your commitment for sure and your courage. They're going to ignore you. They're going to call you names and call you scams. They're going to yell stop at you. They're going to hang up on you. They're going to tell you that you're too expensive.
Outrageous.
They're going to tell you that they want the service that they book and then they cancel.
Mm. Yeah.
They tell you that they're not going to pay their cancellation fee either.
Mm.
Ew. They're
What
just
else is
shopping.
mm. They're going to tell you that I just was looking for the free thing. Yeah. I have a client. This is so good. I must have took it out of the mentorship, but I'll put it back in there. I have a client. I just saw her probably the other day. That's made me think of it. She was one of those people. I just want the free thing. I was like, Pamela is her name. I was like, all right, Pamela, let me show you. Pamela's been a client with us for over 2 years now, and she just wanted the free thing. And so again, like this is where you have to be convicted when somebody says, "I just want the free thing." Cool. I got to think about it. I took my spouse. No. Cool. Let me show you. Conviction, resistance. You need to learn how to sell that person. That's what the signal is, guys. Not that person's stupid. That person sucks. It's you. It's you. That's why the humility. That's why all these things go together, guys. You got to also have the humility to realize that it's you. Your inability to articulate value to strangers. Like that is the problem. I talk about this so much inside the community, specifically like in the softwares and systems call, where there's for all the brand new people who come into the community, we have a call dedicated just for them, and even people who are in the community for a long time. Usually, they just have the system set up. But inside that call, I talk so much about like if you can understand how to articulate value to strangers, like it will change your freaking life. Because if you can talk to strangers, also guys, it'll help you also talk to family members and be able for you to then sell yourself, right? I think strangers can be very helpful to your skill sets because they will test you because they have no trust in you. Also, they have no problem telling you the truth, which is what a lot of you guys need to hear. The truth. You suck. Get better. Seriously. Like, I think that's the best thing. Like, as a coach, that's my job. It's just not in such a direct way, but like basically to tell you where you're short at and to also tell you that it's possible, but here's what's required in order for you to close the gap on sucking to being great. It's just in a more articulated way versus a prospect will just flat out tell you, go the F away. That's all. Right? So how do you actually sell strangers? If the goal is to sell strangers, how do you actually do it? What is the
Yeah,
format for
there's
selling?
a few things that you need to do in order to sell a stranger. The first is you need to build trust.
We can do this through reviews. How many of you guys shop on Amazon? Right. Ken and I just bought a new stand-up desk on Amazon, and she put one in her cart, and I was like, wait, go back. Let's see if there's any more with any reviews. That was literally the thing I said to her. I was like, let's go see if there's any more with any more reviews. Like that's one way that people are going to prove to see if you're good or not, guys. Like, let's go check your reviews. Okay. What else can you do, Katie, to build trust?
Yeah, you can come prepared to the phone call. So
Wow.
have a script, be practiced, actually role play prior to going live with a stranger.
Wow. Really crazy advice. But most people don't do it. Like, actually be practiced. One thing I didn't tell you guys, part of that story earlier where I sold all those people, again, didn't know what I was selling, didn't know what I was actually like the fulfillment on it. I literally knew nothing. I was just speaking words. But what I did do is I practiced the script. And I remember when I was my drive between the gym and my home, I would practice the script. I would practice saying the words. It's Katie to
Practicing the
help me with
script.
it, right? Like for 3 days, I just consumed the script. I immersed myself in the script. And then after that point, to be honest with you, I didn't have to because I talked to 20 freaking people a day. Like it was insane the amount of volume I got. And that's the cool thing about doing phone sales that everyone here has as well is like you can get a lot of volume. You can do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 calls a day. Some of you guys don't, but you could if you call more people, right? You get enough volume. Like be prepared. Okay. You can have your CRM pulled up. You can have your calculator pulled up. Oh, wait. Let me get things going. Like lack of preparation. Like it's so silly. I remember sitting in the seat when we started Mesa. Like if you guys don't remember, I started selling in Mesa. I sold for 6 freaking months. And I wouldn't call myself the best salesperson specifically for cleaning, but I was just consistent. I always had my stuff ready to go. I was always prepared. And so even though at that time I didn't have a ton of reps, like I got good quick because I just was consistent. Just always had my stuff prepared. I always was sitting in the same seat. I wasn't on the road. You guys, know many in-person walkthroughs? I told this to Dina the other day. You know how many in-person walkthroughs I've done in my life?
Done.
Dina put it up. I've literally done zero. I've never left my butt from the seat. I don't drive. When we came into Arizona, for the first 2 years, I didn't have a car down here. Like Katie drove my car. We had one car. We didn't bring our other car from Montana. It's still up there. Probably just donate it at this point. I just chose, and I chose that because I didn't also want to have the opportunity to have to go drive. I was like, no, I'm not driving. So like, I'm just selling from my seat. And Keziah, who's in Mesa, has also made zero in-person walkthroughs as well. So we basically grew this business to it's at 83 right now. We'll see what it ends out by the end of the month, but it'll probably do close to $90,000 again this month. We've done zero in-person walkthroughs for the entire. It's almost been 2 years since we started it. It'll be 2 years in March.
They have 100% of the time been consistent and prepared.
Be prepared, right? Sit your butt in the seat. Okay. And then
If you guys think about it like going into an in-person walkthrough, like are you going to come to an in-person walkthrough and not be showered and not have your paperwork with you and not be looking at the client's house? Like, no, you're going to be prepared. So show up to the phone call the same way.
you know, what's another way, Katie, that we can sell strangers?
Yeah. I like this one because you serve them rather than sell them.
You know, this is the biggest thing I can give you guys right here is like even when it doesn't benefit you, like that is where your conviction to sell comes from. Is when when you do things that don't necessarily benefit you today. Like tell them no. If they're not in your service radius, tell them no. If they're not willing to pay your man hour rate, that's outrageous. How much do you charge? $50 an hour. I don't even make that. Neither do I. The business, right, guys? Like again, it's also important for you guys to have clarity on. You can tell them no when they're not willing to pay your minimum rate. I only want to pay $100. Sorry, our minimum is $195. Not your services. Like, don't do window cleaning. Don't do steam cleaning. Don't go buy a carpet cleaner. Like we do home cleaning. That's what we do. That serves them. Be convicted in what you do and what you don't do. Also, you can serve them by actually telling them yes too. Like some of the difficult houses, things that are just like inconvenient but still doable, like hoarder houses. As long as there's no mice and bugs, like just like trash, like we can trash. Is Light on here today, Katie?
She was.
So our first client in Bozeman, Katie, what did you guys call her? What is the house called?
The 1% house. It
1%
got
house.
1% better every time we went, but it started at 0%.
Yeah. Her name is Susan. And throughout the years in Bozeman, so this is the Bozeman location. She's been attempted to be fired many, many, many times, including by Katie as well. Katie tried to fire her in the very beginning. And I was like, no, we're not firing her. We don't have any clients. We cannot fire her. She had a tough house, but there was one time, I actually think it was the second time we went and cleaned her house. Like, we didn't even go clean. What did we do, Katie? What did you do, I should say?
Yeah, we loaded up the back of the pickup with a bunch of garbage and I took it to the dump for her.
And it's funny, she just popped back on the schedule again. I saw that we ended up firing her and then we just brought her back. So she's back. So, okay, guys, what strangers actually buy? Strangers actually buy certainty, not cleaning. And so your tone matters more than the price, and the structure of your conversation beats any sort of charisma that you're trying to bring. And so, very simply, like all those things we talked about, just practice, practice, practice being prepared. Practice, practice, practice serving. Practice, practice, practice serving the person. Okay. We got to learn how to sell.
Yeah, we got to sell our cleaners.
Cleaners. What are we selling our cleaners on? What are we actually selling our cleaners on?
We are selling our cleaners on delivering a 5-star experience every single time.
Mm. So simple, yet so challenging. Because cleaners sometimes don't act like they want to be there. Like, even when they're trying to get a job, when they're an applicant. Okay, what are some things that cleaners will do as applicants?
Not show, cancel, show up late, say they had a family emergency, show up, but then not show up next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, lie about having a car.
And then getting dropped off by their boyfriend or their mom. Yeah. What about cleaners who actually make it on our team? Like, why do why do they make it like what sort of resistance do they present to us sometimes?
Yeah, not meeting client expectations, breaking stuff. When they do leave,
Breaking
not
breaking stuff in clients' homes, like breaking their stuff,
breaking client stuff,
and then also
breaking our supplies,
breaking our stuff both.
not taking care of the vacuum. And then if and when they do leave, going out with a bang, with a 1-star review, telling you you're terrible, not returning the supplies that you gave them, trying to bring all of the other cleaners on the team with them, bad mouthing the company, filing unemployment, threatened to taking you to court. And actually, I'm going to go do this on my own and I'm going to take all of the clients that I just served with me.
Thanks for being the best client acquisition system for your existing cleaners. They're just going to take all your clients with them. They don't have to pay Facebook. Why don't you just go get them and they'll take them? And this resistance, guys, has to make you more convicted, not less. Some of you guys might remember it was about a year ago. We had a mass exodus in our Mesa location. It was about a year ago that we hit our first $19,000 week. We were 1 year into business. We had $19,000 for the week. What's the significance of $19,000 in a week, guys?
A weekly $1 million run rate.
Yeah, right. So if you guys want to have $1 million businesses, it starts with you hitting $19,000 in a week first. Like that's one of the first big milestones. And we did it. We were 1 year into business. We're like, dude, we're going to do this. So cool. And then that was the start of the mass exodus. And less than 8 weeks later, those 16 cleaners who hit that first $1 million run rate, only 2 were remaining 8 weeks later. We had a huge mass exodus. And if you guys want to go back and listen to those calls, you guys can go back and watch the old Road to a Million calls, both in the free school group inside the mentorship. You guys can go listen to it on the podcast, or it's on YouTube now as well. And one of the things I was very conscious of is like, it wasn't the cleaner's fault. It was my fault, right? It was my fault. And I learned a lot from that whole experience. It was very challenging. It was very hard. But what I learned was like, it was on me. And it's been almost a year since that's happened. And yeah, I think the biggest thing that we learned was standards, right? The biggest mistake I made was we lowered standards to try to keep people. That doesn't work because the people who are meeting the standards get very upset. Superstars don't like working with duds, I guess you could call them. We don't lower our standards. We enforce the standards. And then the people who don't want to meet the standards, we replace them with people who do and who are willing, not with their words, but with their actions to meet the standards. So for you guys, you just have to understand what your standards are and then be convicted in enforcing them.
These standards should be definitely something that you are also willing to uphold. I think sometimes we have this standard issue where we have higher standards, expectations of standards for our team than we do ourselves. And the reason that a lot of people will stay average is because they accept average standards when no one is watching.
No one's ever going to have higher standards than you in your business. And if they do, they will leave to start their own business. So if you guys want to understand why people leave your business, is because they think that they can do it better than you. And it's because they either are naive, which a lot of the times they are, or you just did a bad job of articulating what the standards are. All right. Person number 5, guys. Ready for the last person? Out of the 5 people we got to sell?
Office staff.
Office staff, right? And you got to sell your office staff on selling strangers and cleaners. And really, truthfully, on themselves and even their family members too. Like we can't have outside drama come to the inside, and we also can't have internal drama come out inside the office, right? So it all kind of comes back around. And so, yeah, I think one of the reasons that we're sitting here today and that we have a business that is getting close to $3 million, our trailing 12 months revenue is $2.9 million. And it's definitely due to these 3 humans right here. And so I remember the first time I met Alaya in our offices in Montana, in our house. They're in the basement, and a basement apartment. Then I have my office, and then Katie has her office. And this cleaner was cleaning the basement. And all of a sudden, I just hear somebody laughing and giggling. They open up the door, and there's this girl sitting on the floor. And she's just like talking to Katie while she's working, just sitting on the floor, and like just the biggest, brightest smile. I was like, who is this person? Turned out to be Alaya. A couple of weeks later, we invited her to dinner, and I got to meet her and her now fiance. And that was where I wrote down in my little notebook that I always keep next to me at all times. I have like thoughts, ideas, and then just things that pop in my head. And I wrote down, Alaya is a superstar in the making. And that was in August of 23. We ended up bringing her into the office. In 2023, Katie ended up growing Bozeman to $1.1 million, and Alaya took over in 2024. And Alaya grew it to $1.3 million. And then in 2025, grew it to 1.5. And guys, I want to be like really clear on this, is that like Katie and I haven't been to Montana since 2023. The fact that that business grew without us is a testament to Alaya. And it's also a testament to like systems and coaching of like, there's a difference between your business like maintaining while you're gone versus it growing. And it's completely different. The reason that we left is because we were starting another location down in Arizona. And so in March of 2024, so just like 3 months later, we started Mesa 5-star cleaning from zero. Like I said earlier, Katie and I sold, Katie cleaned, and then eventually Katie came in and sold with me and hired people. And then 6 months in, we hired 2 office staff people. They were both cleaners. And one of those people was Keziah, just a 19-year-old girl who Katie and I were like, there's just like, she just seemed like she had something about her. Like she didn't necessarily have any skills pertinent to the job, but
It was fun to be around.
she had weird skills, guys. Like, she could whistle like a bird. She could talk like Donald Duck. She just had these really weird quirks about her. She had so many weird things. And come to find out, she was just really good at learning things. She had a skill of learning. And that 19-year-old girl took a business at the time doing $37,000 a month And she's gone through 4 assistants next to her. She's still here. And like I said earlier, that business has done over $90,000 a month. And this month will close again on that number. And Katie and I haven't done any sales or any hiring or any operations since she came into the office, right? Tyler and Kellen came out to Mesa, Arizona in, was it May of 2023, and they wanted to start their business. And we sat in a boardroom, just Kellen and Tyler and myself. Katie was actually, she was somewhere overseas. I don't know where you were in 2023, Katie. Where were you? Do you remember?
South America, Peru.
Yeah. We did this board breaking thing. Kellen, do you remember the board breaking? I'm sure you remember the board breaking, right? So some of you guys who came out the early decade days, we did some board breaking. We did some like mindset stuff. And like Kellen didn't break the board. Out of all the people I did that with, Kellen didn't break the board. And I was like, man, like this could be pretty, like this could maybe defeat her. This could make her feel bad. And opposite, conviction. Like, and by the way, I didn't know Kellen. Like I knew Tyler a little bit from our interactions before that, but like this was the first time I ever met Kellen. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if she's gonna like me after this. But it was quite the opposite. I feel like we got a connection after that. And then they end up growing their business to about $20,000 a month. Took them about 20 months to do it. And in January last year, so it's been almost a year, they agreed to actually grow their business publicly. Some of you guys might remember this, but inside the community, we did a live call with Tyler and Kellen about how we were going to double their business. We made this outlandish, unreasonable goal that we were going to double their business in just a few short months, even though it took us 20 months to get to 20K. And they were like, down, let's do it. And in 15 weeks, they went from 20K to 40K.
Dang.
Crazy, crazy. And then in November of last year, 2025, yeah, they agreed to let us buy Sacramento 5 Star Cleaning, and yeah, another big commitment. So crazy, so crazy. And that business last month did 55K, and we just hired its first office assistant, and I'm excited to keep on pushing it to 83K as well, right? And so you guys can see there in the graphic, overrated or underrated, very much underrated. And it's like, if you guys want to grow $1 million business, it's going to take office managers. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. You're not going to be able to sustain it. You might be able to get there, but you'll never sustain it by yourself, ever, 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 ever. And so like what you're really selling office staff people on is it's your standards when you're not in the room. And so you have to have strong beliefs and you have to be able to articulate them so that way they understand, well, what would Katie and Logan do if I'm not here? How would they handle this? Right? And so how you train office staff is you don't show them how to click buttons. You show them how to believe. You show them what you see. Every level of business, guys, is just a new person that you must sell. Okay. And so first it's yourself, then it's your family, then it's strangers, then it's cleaners, and then it's leaders. And so understand that your income is capped because you don't know how to sell one of these people. And if one of these 5 people is stopping you from growing, like this is exactly what we coach and what we teach you guys inside the mentorship right here. How to sell these 5 people. So if you guys are not in the mentorship, which a lot of you guys are on here, so we appreciate you guys. If you guys are in the mentorship, then James will drop the link down below and you guys can apply, right? So you can learn how to sell all 5 of these people instead of not being able to sell any of them. Final thoughts, Katie, as we go off today.
I think just circling back to the definition of conviction to sell. And that is when no's increase your belief that yes is in their best interest. So as you guys have seen us talk about the people, yourself, your family, strangers, cleaners, and then your leaders, you'll notice that we've encountered a lot of no's along the way. So much so that our belief, we are so much more convicted today in selling each one of these levels than we were in the past. And it's just a skill. Like Logan mentioned, where your revenue is capped is exactly it's a person and your ability to sell that person.
Yeah, it's
just
really
understand that the no's are going to come before the yeses.
Yeah, I think that it's your ability to withstand the no's is going to determine your income capability. And for some of you guys who are brand new, it's okay. This is where I have empathy for you because I was there. I've been there. I feel that. I still have a strong feeling for what it was like when I first got started. I think that's why I'm able to connect with new people. I just also now have the skills. It doesn't affect me negatively. It affects me positively. It increases my conviction. Every time I go through something hard or challenging, I get rejected. It makes me better. And that's because of this whole concept today is conviction. Conviction increases when you face resistance. As human beings, we avoid challenges, but it's the things that actually will make you more confident. It'll increase your conviction is by doing those things and realizing that you can do it. And if you need some help, you need some coaching and guidance, you need somebody like an Alex to tell you like, bro, it gets better. Keep going. Like that's what the mentorship is, right? It really is just that somebody who's done it, who's like, dude, keep going. Like it gets so much better. You don't even know what good is yet. It's like, man, life is so good compared to where we were 10 years ago. And in 10 years, we're going to laugh. Be like, man, life is so much better now. And it's because we continue to chase this, continue to chase growth. So chase resistance, like move towards the resistance, not away from it. It's not going to be natural. That's why these goals are not natural. Like being a million dollar business, guys, only 7% of businesses do it. It means 93% don't. It's a small number. And as you keep going up the ladder, the percentages get smaller and smaller. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for showing through these calls. And you guys' support means everything. And so, yeah, see you guys next week. Let me know somewhere if you guys like this new format. And yeah, happy freaking Monday, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Guess what, guys? Next week is week number 100. We've been doing this call for 100 weeks next week. So thank you guys.
Between now and then, let's go race to serve some people.
Yeah, let's go help some people along the way. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.